Just imagine having a life filled with trauma, chronic depression, deep loneliness, low self-esteem, bullying, abuse from a parent. Just imagine being suicidal. Then, on the big screen of a movie theater, you watch a movie that looks like a reflection of yourself, of your life, that moves you so much that you can't help but start cosplaying the character while remaking the movie scenes.
September 29, 2020. With the pandemic, and the return to isolation, my mental health is already very fragile, and no access to mental health care. Waiting for 3 years at the CLSC after several attempts. Finally, no access to therapy, extreme loneliness, precariousness, illness, isolation. I have relapsed. I am also very at risk for COVID, so I have no choice but to be very careful. A chance that Joker exists. He is my refuge. Also, to remake the scenes of the film Joker for me is extremely liberating. It represents in itself a certain therapy. I was able to free myself from a little weight by remaking the scene from his mother's file. My mother did exactly the same things to me, except that I was not adopted. I live emotions like the ones we see through Joaquin. This movie is perfection. In 2020, I started doing this, during the first wave of pandemic. Been a clown since I am a kid. Same abuse from the mother that happened many times, and lot of super hard stuff happening since childhood. Bullying, being beaten up as a mascot, fired for no reasons with injustice, etc. I was already super suicidal. Welfare just took off $140 of my monthly check because I had roommates. One of their many ways of finding reasons to cut off people's welfare money. Even though it's illegal, they managed to be able to do it still. My very bad health, I could die. I was just copy-pasting the scenes of Joker, and I wasn't allowing myself to express internalized feelings of shame, sadness and all the rest that the character goes through at the same level. At one point in 2020, I told myself, go to the bathroom, put Demise of a Nation Secession Studios, and just let emotions flow. What I didn't know is that all the emotions wanted to come out at the same time. It was the first time I was allowing it. It became too much. Result, I have no memory, not a single second memory of making that video. In 2020 still, at my lowest point, I win a painting from Lee, Gary in Joker.
I wanted to do a quick video to let you know about a charity raffle that I'm involved in at the moment. We're trying to raise as much money as possible for Hope for the Day. These guys do so much amazing work for suicide prevention and helping people out with mental health issues. So it's a really worthy cause. It's of myself from the Joker movie, and it's been signed, framed, and the idea is we're going to raffle it off. Tickets will be $5 each. There'll be a link in my bio for where you can buy those. And the more tickets you buy, the more chance you have of winning, and the more money we raise. The winner will be announced on the 10th of October, which is World Mental Health Day. And painting, this one, yeah, we managed to raise a lot of money and for an amazing cause, Hope for the Day. And the winner has been drawn, and it is Marjolaine Robichaud from Canada.
I cried so much after receiving the frame from Lee. Because I was happy, but really thought to myself, how it would feel great to express all of this to Joaquin. Or Todd. Let's say Todd, because I would be so scared to bother Joaquin. My own mother having so long abused me, tied up, while I cried and choked. The times she threatened me with a knife, forcing me to go at her friend's place, which I don't remember, except a blurry vision of them being on top of me. I have so many similarities with the character that I'm almost afraid of it. I know that part of my capsizing emotions come directly from all of this. When I was in high school, and for so long it was so wrong living at home in extreme abuse, and as soon as I got to school it was the severe bullying during the years. My only coping mechanism became to create myself Patrick. A boyfriend that didn't exist. Having no access to therapy, and the government cutting more and more in public services. The same exact abuse with my mother. I am just not adopted, and I know my father. I put on the soundtrack of the subway scene, sit down, immerse myself in Arthur, having the impression of being him, because I suddenly go back into a subway car, but also into a place from the Dalbavio Secondary School. Suddenly, the three Wall Street narcissists become three men personifying Simon, Alexander and Francois. Bullies that did the same. For years and years. The weapon is of course a metaphor because I would not kill. On the other hand, being in this fictitious wagon, I go into a trance, and in the psychodrama, by plunging back into my past, I can finally affirm myself, and gradually settle a past that still haunts me in my nightmares every night. Of course, just doing the scenes from the film wouldn't be enough, so I also create scenes outside of it, where Arthur evolves at the same time as me, confronts his past at the same time as me. I create fake sets at low prices. Also create other clowns. As much as the beginning of this pandemic could have, I have seen, destroyed me psychologically, as much as this path taken is the one of which I am most proud now. I have evolved beyond description, only in the last year. For some I have no life, and according to me I live fully, finally. Then with time I have fun, dancing, role-playing the movie scenes. Role-playing scenes I create, elevating my own voice about the issues of poverty. Illnesses that fits with the themes of the movie. Helping others finding their voice, being part of a community. Fight against bullying, confronting my own bullies online. Again so many sessions of roleplay, studying psychodrama, learning about Aristotle, catharsis, Jacob Levy Moreno, studying the science of trauma, hero's journey, parasocial relationships, studying sociology, learning about superhero therapy created by Dr. Yanina Scarlett, talk with Yanina Scarlett in a podcast, being part of her books, working on worksheets, meeting Joaquin Phoenix and him being super impacted. Creating my own ebook of tools to help others along with my personal story, still struggling a lot in poverty and illnesses, role-play session. Getting to know myself, feel the pain, acknowledging it, understand it, work on the parasympathetic nervous system, amygdala etc. Without knowing I help a lot. I was able to prevent two persons from killing themselves because they could find their own way of coping from arts and worksheets. By seeing what I do and trying to, this is for me my path to post-traumatic growth. Even though some say that I escape my life, I would say there is no escape. For the first time I feel my emotions without shame, and I had the idea of cosplaying him. But as the perfectionist that I am, I wanted to look like him as much as I could. The only thing is that I was getting so frustrated with the results. As much as I always knew that this kind of dialogue you have with yourself is not helping, dialogue that I have received from others for a long time, I couldn't stop feeling extremely down, looking at other cosplayers that were impersonating the same character. So, why don't you try learning that makeup technique? Frustrated self, probably coming from that wounded inner child. I can't do it. I am not good. You are good at painting. You always said artistic makeup is like painting. See how they do the face lines, shadows etc. You can learn it. And the adventure began. For me, the adventure was the first project that could be a project that I finish. That I learn not to give up on the first mistake because of that inner critic. I am so much my worst critic, it is unbelievable. I couldn't watching tutorials. So I started watching pictures of Joaquin when he was skinny for the role, and try to replicate lines, shadows. Now, I know that challenges are not as though, because I can handle more mistakes. And I know I can do it.